Naku Koroni, Dawn of the Golden Witch. Let's do this! In the cathedral, the Go attendants were all jostling around either side of the red carpet. On the red carpet, standing across from each other, were Beto and Erika. In their hands were the pistols given to them by Zapara and Furfur.
Flintlocks, aren't they? How old-fashioned.
Pay it no mind. Demons are very particular about style. Its form was similar to an actual old-fashioned gun, but this was, of course, a demon's gun. This wasn't a gun that would propel a lead bullet with an explosion caused by gunpowder, like the pistols used in the duel between Shannon and Cannon. Those bullets had contained a magic that would always kill. These pistols also had bullets that were not made of lead. Beto. There's no need to worry. She'll win easily, and you'll have to deal with her insults again, Leon. When this match is over, we should also be asked to be paid every now and then. After the fight ends, perhaps the occasional trip down to the Korean would be satisfactory. If not, Tyler, enough talk about when the fight is over. That's an ill omen before a duel. Beto, take this seriously. This is no time to be standing around laughing. Beatrice, relax, and Leah tense. Come on.
Beatrice, you can do it!
Beatrice is at a disadvantage in this duel. Why?
Normally, witches are able to use strength and numbers to achieve victory. However, since the game has been suspended, she has nothing on her side except the riddle of Balor's guest room.
If Eric can just strike a blue wedge through that one riddle, it'll mean she solved everything. They can win. I believe in Beatrice. And Battler. Our two masters.
Did you call me? Thanks. Huh? For once, it feels as though our chances of winning are 50-50. So I'd like to thank you beforehand. It is simply my job. There is no need to thank me. In the last game, when you protected me after I lost pathetically, I was happy. That was the first time in my life that anyone has ever protected me. Even my master has never done so. All she has ever given me was a way to cancel out my pain by exposing the truth of others, so that everyone ends up hurting each other. Please forgive my arrogance. I felt that I needed to protect you. When I realized what a frail truth you live by, when I saw you being tormented by the tyranny of a mixture of truth and lies that seem more plausible, I wanted to protect you. Thank you. It wasn't for long, but you are a wonderful partner. And will remain so. You're right. Once we defeated her, let's make tons of mysteries on this island together. I'll have you solve them and tease you as we play. How does that sound? I like it. I look forward to your challenge. Sorry, that's a lie. I take it back. That'd be one of those loser flags, wouldn't it?
Now, are you ready, duelists? When the two demons clap their hands, the duelists instantly return to their bold, tense smiles. The bullets within those magic guns are not lead! They are bullets of red and blue truth for the battle between mystery and fantasy. As long as you possess truth, your bullets are endless. However, being hit by a single one means instant death. Are you both prepared? Certainly.
Of course.
Lady Lambda Delta, oh great and powerful witch of certainty and member of the glorious Senate, please come forward. Will you swear to oversee this duel?
Of course. I swear it.
The cloud spit. I'm sorry, I confused my R's and L's. The crowd split and Lambda... crowd split and Lambda walked forward with Berncastle by her side. She looked between the faces of the two duelists. Then, she took out an envelope with a seal of the one-winged eagle and lifted it high.
Beatrice has lent me her revisions to the tale inside a seal envelope. After inspecting it, I find its contents to be valid. I proclaim that the logic error has been avoided. The chain lock is still set, and without any contradictions with any red truth made up to this point.
The many Go attendants knew the details of Balor's closed room. They realized how difficult it was. And though fiery debates had swept across the crowd during the reception, none had been able to find an answer. And now, it was clear that Beatrice had already reached one.
Therefore, this duel is legitimate. It'll center around one single point. The closed room of Balor's guest room. Balor disappeared from within the closed room sealed by the chain lock. Therefore, Eric has been armed with the blue truth. Beatrice has been armed with the red truth to counter back. The duel will continue until one side is victorious.
Splendid.
Perfect. Okay. Well then, Beato, present your new revised tale and riddle to Erica.
Canon used magic to escape from the cousin room without breaking the seals. He reached the guest room and used magic to let Balor escape from that closed room. What a foolish tale.
Very well. Erica, is there anything you wish to confirm? Repeat it. The one who rescued Balor was without a doubt Canon.
Very well. The one who rescued Balor was without a doubt Canon.
Repeat it. Balor and Canon are different people.
I'll say it. Balor and Canon are different people.
That's enough. Erica, are you done confirming things? That was all I needed. I've already decided how to fight. Okay, let both sides load their bullets.
Erica turned around, pressed her finger against the barrel of the pistol, made her blue truth into a bullet, and pushed it in. There was no rule saying that she had to turn away, but she didn't want her expression to be read. Or it might have been because she couldn't stand the tension of looking at Beato's bold smile. Beato had already finished loading her red truth. She waited for Erica to finish while calmly puffing on her pipe. Then she looked at Balor, who sat on the throne of the territory lord right next to the two witches who were there as witnesses. Balor's consciousness was still hazy. However, he apparently understood that Beato had come to the duel for his sake so that he could be saved. It was all he could do to just look at Beato with those sluggish eyes. But a flood of emotion passed between them. There was no need for words. A look was enough for them now. Erica closed her eyes tightly, her fingers still up against the barrel. At that moment, her stunning powers of concentration made all the distractions of the outside world disappear. Good. It's always been like this, but my concentration is really good. Are you ready? Are you ready, me, Fruto, Erica? First, let's lay out the situation. Balor disappeared from that closed room. The chain lock is set. Did he disappear by magic? Of course not. There has to be a trick. Canon didn't save him with magic. He just came, took Balor's place, and set the chain. Everyone knows that much. The problem is the next step. No, it's actually the step before that one. Canon was in the cousin room, the guest house. That room was completely sealed with packing tape, and it's been proven that the seal was intact until the time of the logic error. In other words, Canon escaped from the closed room that was absolute with no chance for excuses or twisted logic. Good. This is why she called it a simple yet ultimate closed room. How did he escape from the perfect closed room known as the cousin room? If I got stuck thinking about only that question, I'd be no better than your average kid detective. That room is a perfect closed room, so there's no way to escape. In other words, trying to think of a way to escape from there is a waste of time. The real question is how Canon was somewhere outside the cousin room when it was sealed. The cousin room is completely sealed can. If he was in there when it was sealed, it's already game over. In other words, at the time the cousin room was sealed, he wasn't inside anymore. Let's look at the time I checked everyone's locations and sealed the rooms. That's the most suspicious part. At that time, we had 5 people in the next room over. whom I confirmed with my own eyes: Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo. I mentioned the names of those 5 people during the location check and confirmed they were in the next room over. Then I checked to see whether everyone else was in the cousin room and had confirmed for me as well. I said everyone else, so whether he was Kanon or Yoshia or even Puru Puru Pico Man, they all should have been sealed in the cousin room. It seems perfect at a glance. However, though that phrase, everyone else seems perfect, it's fishy. Strictly speaking, everyone else refers to all humans whose names I did not mention directly. In other words, there are exceptions. For example, it's been confirmed that Hideyoshi and George were in the next room over, so humans with the name Hideyoshi or George don't need to be inside the cousin room. It seems that Kanon told Jessica his real name was Yoshia, but that was no red truth. In other words, what if Kanon's real name is the same as one of those in the next room over? They seem to be about the same age, so let's use George. So what if it were 2 Georges in that room? That doesn't violate the red truth that's saying that Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo are the next room over. Let's say that Kanon's real name was Takanaka George. Both Ushiromiya George and Takanaka George could exist in that room at the same time. In other words, there were 6 humans with 5 names. It looked to my eyes as though there were only 5 people in the next room over, but a 6-person count was hiding somewhere. I don't have the detective's authority, so it wouldn't be that difficult for him to fool my eyes and hide. I see. The double name trick. Stupid. So stupid. Alright. I've made my logic. Kanon, who was hiding in the next room over, not the cousin room, left by the window after the seals were placed. The gun had fired and the tip of my finger was stained with blood. The Blue Truth gunpowder had exploded. Damn it, I've already had Dowler seal that one. Blue Truth arguing about the window of the next room over is forbidden, so I can't use it. Oh, an accidental discharge. Careful now. Guns can be dangerous. Shut up! It's just a little mistake. The window of the next room over. You sealed it with some absurd trick, right? Gap told me. Is that so? And so what? Dalnor, remove that foolish seal. That seal has become your shackles. Beato has figured out everything I've been thinking, and she's acting so confident, telling me to go ahead and use that argument.
Lady Erica.
Please remove it! That fool. I'll make her regret this! It seems you are ready, duelists! Please face each other with your pistols. Then fire with the sparks of truth! After facing away and readying herself one last time, Erica spun around. Beato had been facing her since the beginning. She wore a confident, challenging smile as if she kept waiting. Then, without any signal, the two slowly raised their guns, pointing the red and blue glints that hid within their barrels at each other. Come, I could do with a little fun. Begin! First is how Kano escaped from the cousin room. I'll use that as my bullet. Huh, so you'll start from there. Let's have it. Hold nothing back. Here I go! After holding the gun high, pointing at Beato once more, Erica pulled the trigger with the statements of red and blue truth. The cousin room is guaranteed to be a perfect closed room until the end. So if Kano really was in this room, it would be impossible for him to escape. In other words, Kano was not in that room at the time it was sealed. The name Kano is an alias. His real name is still unknown. If his real name happens to be the same as anyone else in the next room over, that wouldn't contradict the check on who was in that room. In other words, it's possible for him to be the next room over, not the cousin room. The go attendants chattered and clapped their hands, thinking, yes, such a move would work. I love watching this. I love being surrounded by this chatter. After all, I am the detective. It is true the next room over was sealed, but at the time of the logic error, only the doors were checked to see whether the seals were preserved. Therefore, there's a chance the window seals were broken. Cal was in the next room over and escaped through that window. That is all. Any other theory would be impossible. If this doesn't work, then there's no truth left. As soon as she said that is all, both of them fired at the same time. After the blast rang out, it was Erica's gun that fell to the floor. Beato's red bullet had knocked Erica's gun from her hands. Was it arrogance or confidence? If she had just aimed that bullet at Erika's heart, the whole thing would have been over. Beato had missed on purpose. There was a bold smile on her face. It was as though she was offering to play with Erika a little longer. No, that's exactly what made her Beato. Beatrice, the witch who mocks others with unsolvable closed room tricks. At the time the next room over was sealed, Hideyoshi, George Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo were in it, and the number of people in the next room over was 5. No one existed there except for those whom those 5 names refer. All people can only go by their own names. It was a thoroughly merciless red truth. It was simple and severe. And now the number of people had been limited to 5, any leeway for Kano hiding there had been completely denied. Also, it was now clear that only people holding those 5 names existed within the room. Erika couldn't even make a new theory by suggesting that one person held 2 names, so 5 names referred to only 4 people, which wouldn't even let an unnamed Kano sneak in. Furthermore, the part about how people could only use their own names was a fatal blow that cut down countless theories. Come to think of it, you only ever met the half-sleeping me from the previous game, haven't you? What do you think, Erika? How do you like the game of the Golden Witch? That's insane! Are you saying that Kano slipped out of the room by magic? More importantly, why didn't you just knock my gun away? The human side must crush all the witch's riddles, whereas the witch side need only crush the human's theory once. Did you find that unfair? So I decided to have it be even. Even? I've decided that I make my victory condition the destruction of all your theories. I've won the riddle of Kanon's escape, but there's one more. Let's return to the first battleground, where you gave Balor so much trouble. When Beato snapped her fingers, that guest room of Balor's was reconstructed. She meant to fight once more in the room that had threatened Balor with a logic error determined to settle things once and for all. Erika, pick up your gun. We'll have this room be your coffin. I say the same to you! I'll make you regret ever giving me this chance! Witness, allow Erika to use X. X? You mean a basis that doesn't need to be explained? What are you gonna let her do? Let's give Erika permission to use blue truths for Kanon and this guest room trick, without making her explain how he escaped from this closed room. A theory explaining how Kano saved Balor would also need to explain how Kano escaped from his own closed room, or it would have no basis. Erika had already lost that basis. Beato was giving her a handicap by saying that she didn't need to explain that part. Of course! You've already used the red truth and guaranteed that Kano saved Balor. It's only natural that I be given this privilege! Erika faced away again and concentrated even harder. As though twisting the knob on the radio, she turned all the noise and idle thoughts down to 0. Let's go, Furuto Erika. Detective Furuto Erika! As long as Kano reaches this place, rescuing Balor isn't hard. The trick is as follows. Kano used some kind of trick X to escape the front of the guest room. While I was busy in the bathroom, Balor left the closet. Balor undid the chain lock. Balor went outside. Kano entered in his place. Kano set the chain lock. Kano went into the closet. The end! This satisfied the 2 red truths about the chain lock being set and Balor's absence. In exchange for this escape trick, Kano remains inside the guest room. There's no room for argument on how tightly this room can act as a closed room. That chain is cursed. In this demonic closed room, one person must remain as a sacrifice for it to be acceptable. However, is such a simple theory really enough? The rescuer switched places with him. Then the rescuer hid in the closet. No other sort of theory is possible, and yet Beato thinks she can win? In that case, does some other trick exist? It's impossible! I swear on the history of the mystery genre, there's absolutely, definitely, categorically no other way! But if I give in here, I wouldn't call myself a detective. Consider it, imagine it. Don't stop thinking. That's how you drive blue wedges into witches. What can I expect to see is, yes, a wordplay trick. It can only be some kind of wordplay that just barely slips through the net of the words spoken in red. In that case, I'll crush all possibilities. I'll have them repeat line after line. This final duel has already begun, even though we haven't pulled our own triggers yet. Repeat it.
At the time Balor was rescued, only Kano entered the guest room.
I acknowledge it. At the time Balor was rescued, only Kano entered the guest room. I believe that was the whole point.
Repeat it. From the time I entered the room to the time the logic error, Balor, Kano, and I were the only ones who entered or exited the room.
I acknowledge it. From the time you entered the room to the time of the logic error, you, Balor, and Kano were the only ones who went in or out of the guest room.
Repeat it. This refers to 3 people.
I acknowledge it. It refers to 3 people. You, Balor, and Kano.
Confirming definition. Can I assume that when you say 3 people, that's equal to the number of bodies? You're saying that 3 bodies went in and out of the room, right? I've had enough of things being mixed around with names and numbers of people. I want this point to be clear.
Of course. 3 people, in other words, 3 bodies went in or out. Only you and Kano entered, and only Balor left. It has already been said and read that all people can only use their own names. Therefore, the names Erika, Balor, and Kano can only be used by those people.
Repeat it. I am not the rescuer.
Of course. You are the detective, are you not? Don't worry, I will respect that.
Confirming definition. How do you define rescuer? This is also important. I want to quickly remove the possibility that I rescued him accidentally.
I'll define rescuer to mean any person who reset the chain lock after Balor unset it. This definition applies whether said person intended to rescue Balor or not.
Since she said after Balor unset the chain lock, it's impossible for this to have occurred before I set foot in the room. From that point on, I wouldn't undo the chain again for all eternity. After all, the game was suspended at that point. Therefore, it was impossible for me to have been the rescuer accidentally. I can focus even more. The chain can only be set from the inside. It's impossible for a person to escape on their own. Therefore, we know that Balor didn't escape by himself. And I'm not the rescuer. Only Kano can be the rescuer. And Beato has already said that Kano is the rescuer with the red truth. There's nothing to doubt. There's no room for anyone but Kano to be involved. At least so far. Repeat it. Going in or out refers to when someone crosses the boundary between the guest room and the area outside it.
I acknowledge it.
Repeat it. By the guest room, we're referring to the entirety of the bedroom, the bathroom, and the closet.
I acknowledge it. I have no intention of wriggling you out of this by saying the closet isn't part of the guest room.
Confirming definition. The inside of the guest room is divided into 3 sections: the bedroom, the bathroom, and the closet.
I also recognize it as such. Furthermore, you have already confirmed with the red truth that 2 of those sections, the bedroom and the bathroom, had no one hiding in them.
Repeat it. There's someone in the closet.
I refuse.
Why's that? Because Kano is hiding in there?
Kano can use magic. It's true that he hid himself in the closet for a time, but then he immediately vanished with his magic. So there's no one in the closet. I cannot respond.
I asked you to repeat it once more.
Fool! The witch side has no obligation to explain how they did things with magic.
No, it's completely obvious. There's no way she can say that Kano disappeared with magic using the red truth. After all, magic doesn't exist. But is this enough? I've gone through every last minor detail, and yet there's an uncanny lack of dubious points. I can't think of any way around the theory I had since the beginning. Kano must be in the closet. He has to be. There's no way he isn't. I'll say it again. This closed room can only be escaped from by switching places with the rescuer. If Kano tried to escape as well, another rescuer would be needed. However, no rescuer exists for Kano. Balor escaped, so it's impossible for it to be him. And I won't undo the chain for all eternity. The people who've gone in or out of the room have been confirmed both by name and number of people. At this rate, my theory is set in stone. First, here are the details of the situation that are certain. The game ended while I was inside the guest room, so I did not undo the chain lock that I had previously set, so it can't be that I escaped after I left the room. Furthermore, the chain lock was set at the same time I entered the room. No one could have left the room during the few seconds between the time I entered and the time I set the chain lock. The guest room was sealed at the time Balor's corpse was examined, so until I came again and broke the seals, it was absolutely impossible for anyone to go in or out. Therefore, when I entered the room, it's certain that Balor was hiding somewhere inside the guest room. The only chance Balor had to escape after I broke the seals. To be even more specific, he had no chance to escape except for during the time I was in the bathroom.
By the above premises, Balor's trick to escape with the chain still set as follows. Because of the aforementioned reasons, the only one who could have set the chain lock, which can only be set from the inside and allow Balor's escape, is Canon, the only person to enter the room except for me and Battler. After Canon entered the room, he set the chain, hid in one place that he could hide inside the guest room, the closet. Ah! Well, that was close. They almost got me. They almost tricked me. I thought I cornered him in the closet. It's the opposite. They're trying to make me think he's in the closet. What was the order in which I searched the guest room? First the bedroom. We confirmed with the red there was nothing there. Then the bathroom. We confirmed with the red that there was nothing there. That's it right there. When I examined the bedroom, there was nothing there. However, when I was investigating the bathroom, Canon slipped out of the closet and hid again somewhere in the bedroom. In other words, my guarantee that no one was in the bedroom was torn apart during the span of 1 minute. I've spotted it! This is the witch's trap, an attempt to lure me into thinking that Canon's in the closet. The place he's really hiding is the bedroom. I found it! I finally found your trick! That was a close one. If I had been one step slower, I'd have said there was nowhere to hide except inside the closet, and that she'd just say the closet was empty. Huh? No, wait. It works the same way in reverse. I see, now I get it. It's a logic switching trick. Damn that Beato, so in resolving the logic error, she discovered this strange trick. If only I noticed the closet, she'd have Canon hide under the bed. If only I noticed the bed, she'll have Canon hide in the closet. Even though either one would be right, I'd lose no matter which I chose. Unless I expose both at the same time, I can't checkmate her. Incredible. I've never heard of such an unfair trick. If it was a sleight of hand, it'd just be a cheap one. If it was a mystery, it'd just be cheating. However, in this witch's game, it's a legitimate logic trick. In chess, it'd be called a double check. No, a discovered attack. Or wait, would it be a discovered double checkmate? Even though this sort of logic would be a foul trick in the mystery genre. In this world where witches and mystery war, it is such a refined board layout. The beautiful placement of the black pieces that cornered my white king felt almost like an art. So beautiful, if I were a god in some old legend, I might wish to stick it in the sky as a constellation. That beauty even brought tears to my eyes. For the first time, I felt honored at being allowed to participate in this game of truth and witches as a human. And ironically, it taught me, the one who would always believe in a single truth, that there isn't necessarily just one truth. If I just broaden my perspective, I can see completely different truths. And though each one of those truths are truth, they're incomplete if they're all you can see. In my life until now, just how many truths have I missed because I was blinded by some trivial truth? This is the true nature of the world. Because of our arrogance in thinking that only one truth exists, whenever we find one truth, we get blinded to all the others. Thank you, Beatrice. I never thought that I would learn the true nature of this world from a witch. Slowly, with a soft and quiet gesture, like a flower opening with the morning dew dripping down its side, Erica raised her gun. It's my victory. I've seen through your double check. Then come. Balor's guest room disappearance trick is as follows. While I searched the room, Balor was hiding in the closet. Then during the disturbance in the bathroom, he unset the chain and escaped from the room. At the time, Count was waiting for him in the hallway. Count entered the guest room in his place and set the chain. This is the trick to Balor's disappearance. And afterwards, he hid in the bedroom. This happened after I checked to see whether there was no one inside the bedroom, so it's valid. In this way, Count and the rest concealed himself in the bedroom. Erica's blue bullet flew in the strange arc. It became a wedge of the blue truth and pierced straight down through the bed and the floor beneath. Beato didn't pull her trigger. However, she did quietly argue back with the red truth. Kano does not exist in the bedroom. Oh! The go attendants gasped. Erica had apparently been defeated, denied by the red truth. But the goats who couldn't see more than a single truth, it probably looked as though I've lost.
Next up is the real one. This is the answer from the human capable of understanding multiple truths. It looks like the tale of illusions will end on the second twilight. So, why don't I carry out the remaining twilights? And open the door to the golden land. If you are to disappear, they should be surrounded by your golden roses. The fires of blue truth flashed at Erica's feet, and she loaded a blue truth bullet once more. That overflowing blue power was now making her entire gun burn with a blue flame. She wasn't aiming for Beato, she was aiming behind Beato. At the closet. Now that the bedroom has been denied, you've nowhere left to run. Die, cannon! The 5 wedges of blue truth she released shot right past Beato's cheek, hair, and shoulders, then pincushioned to the doors of the closet to gouge whatever human was inside to death. The 5 wedges slammed into the door in the vertical line. In other words, on the 4th twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the 5th twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the 6th twilight, on the 7th twilight, on the 8th twilight, gouge and kill and kill and kill. After being gouged by so many thick and sharp wedges, the human inside wouldn't stand a chance. Here's the truth I exposed. That is all.
When she proclaimed that she had finished, the 5 blue wedges pierced the closet disappeared. However, the many large splintered holes left behind showed that had indeed been pierced. Then, as though this completed ceremony that led to the golden land, the room that had been created around them became countless golden flower petals and drifted away. By now, the duelists and the crowd of attendants were surrounded by the gold rose garden of the golden land. However, the closet behind Beato remained. It stood there all by itself like a coffin. Then, as though teased open by the dreary wind, the hole-covered closet door slowly opened. Inside was a human figure. That figure was covered up to the head by what appeared to be a grayish robe. Of course, that also had large holes showing that had been stabbed into. Eventually it became clear that this was not a robe, but a raincoat. If he had rushed here from the guest house, then there would be nothing strange about him wearing this into the guest room. Then, with a rustle, the raincoat lost its human shape, crumpled, and became a cloud of gold butterflies, and disappeared. What the? Inside the coffin of the closet, nothing remained except an empty darkness. Cannon does not exist in the guest room. Of course, this includes all parts of the closet, the bedroom, and the bathroom. Cannon let Balor escape and hide in the closet. Then, he used magic to disappear. This is the witch's truth. That is all.
This fight is over. Say no more.
And the winner is Beatrice! Oh! The attendants let out a cheer. Virgilia's group couldn't help but scream and shout in joy. The 7 sisters jumped about in celebration. Then at the same moment, the 2 demons proclaimed Beatrice's victory. The head's ring worn by Erica, who was slowly crumpling to the ground, the cursed ring on Balor's finger, both burst. At the same time, Balor coughed violently. Balor was starting to regain consciousness. Balor! Balor! Beato lashed onto the coughing Balor in joy. and Vergelia, Gap, and Renave did the same. And all the sisters also crowded about him in delight. What a nasty trick. Are you sure something like that will count? With a trick like this one, those humans will start complaining again how this is no mystery. No, it was a splendid trick. People without love cannot see it. Battler. Battler.
Lady Erica! Lady Erica! Someone help her! Quickly!
The rose of blood in Erica's chest would not stop opening its petals. Third-degree conceptual denial syndrome. Use of continuous neutralizer impossible. Neutralization only possible by an emergency approval for resurrection. The piece's master must have provided approval for resurrection.
Lady Berncastle! Give your approval for her resurrection! Lady Berncastle! Where did she go?
Search request to ceremony guards. Find Lady Berncastle. Understood. All Chester data link. Search format.
How cowardly! To think that someone's master wouldn't watch her pieces duel until the end. No, that is far too cowardly!
Erica, who was being held by Danor, had already realized that her master was nowhere to be seen. But she didn't feel lonely. On the contrary, she was relieved she wouldn't need to be brutally scolded in the last moments of her life. Gods and demons! Please pass on the story of her noble passing. Noble? The bad guy is supposed to die pathetically and make the main character look awesome. I'm not anyone's piece anymore. I can finally control my own role.
Lady Erica, you mustn't move.
Stand back. Stay back! With Erica yelled with all her soul. Those who surrounded her were forced back and fell on their butts. I am the Witch of Truth, Furuto Erica. The Witch of Truth is a witch who can withstand the truth. Now, I can finally accept the real truth about myself. The toxin of her own concept being denied raced through her. Her vision was already starting to blur. At the other end of her twisted range of vision were Battler and Beto, hugging each other and looking at her. Their expressions are firm. That's okay. Pity and sympathy would only make me look more pathetic. For a loser, that sort of expression is the best.
Lady Erica, the duel is already over.
It isn't. Not until the pair is separated by death. We won't let anyone disgrace her final moments. The two demons grabbed Alnor's shoulders and held her back. Dripping blood, breathing heavily, and with an awkward gait, Erica walked toward Beto and Battler despite it all. As the blood dripped from her, it became golden flower petals which drifted away. So as she walked, she looked both divine and beautiful. The duel wouldn't end until one of them died. So even though it had been settled, it hadn't ended. Beto and Battler told the people bunched around them to step back, and they both walked forward to face the noble loser. Erica, congratulations on your resurrection. Looks like you've had bad luck with women. You'll never get a decent one to like you. True, and I'd never fall in love with a decent woman. Beto, no, I ask this of both of you. You wish for one final clash. Erica. Very well. We are not so boorish as to refuse your noble request. Thank you. As her consciousness began to waver, Erica raised her gun again. She pointed it at the two of them. Beto also raised her gun to point at Erica. Then Battler placed his hand on hers. If it's already resolved, what more could be there to argue about? Erica.
Why? Is there nothing I can do at a time like this? Watch until the end. That's your job as her friend, isn't it?
Both sides silently loaded their bullets of truth without saying a word. The color packed into each barrel was red. So, though neither side spoke, did they both know what trump card the other would use?
Now, at the end, I like to finally introduce myself.
Was she saying this late into the game? No one could imagine the red truth Erica had loaded. Beto, are you sure? Yes, I don't mind. I understand. Let's at least pull the final trigger together. I know. Battler placed his hands on top of the finger that Beto had around the trigger. Battler, I'm glad I met you. We will be together for all eternity. You just had to flirt right in front of me. It's pissing me off. You know, I really can't stand teary farewell scenes. Yes, the bad guy really does need to wear this face at the very end. That's a nice look. Married life with you would probably have been fun enough to make me vomit.
Of course! I'd spin you around every day, locked up in a world of pleasure that make you forget Beto in a second.
Huh. It's 1,000 years too early for you to capture Balor's heart, little girl.
You never look cuter than you do now. I guess both of us really do need to finish it this way.
Come.
This is Detective Furuto Erica's final parting line and self-introduction.
Erica spun in a magnificent and graceful rondo, scattering blood and golden flower petals around her as she raised the gun.
Hi! Pleased to meet you. I'm Furuto Erica the detective. I may be an uninvited guest, but please welcome me. I'm the visitor, the 18th human on Rokenjima.
Sorry, bud. Even if you do join us, that makes 17 humans. Dawn of the Golden Witch. Alright, we finished it, hooray. Too bad I had to mute the song. Right, let's get back to this one. Hooray, we did let's read the tea party. Then let the pair exchange their rings! Beata took Balor's hand and put a ring with the seal of the one-winged eagle on his finger. Are you sure? You are already the territory lord, so this ring belongs to you, battler. You really sure? At this rate, the world you created, and the tale. Yes, I created this tale because I wish to be with you. That means the purpose of this world has been fulfilled. So from now on, I want you to write it. The continuing tale of you and me. Or is doing that too awkward for you? I'm just pushing the tiresome task of territory lord onto you anyway. It's much easier being the wife where you only have to brag. I just need to play around and wait for you to write a new tale. And for each new tale you write, I'll play any part you need. Be it an evil witch or a rival. A lover or a wife. My tales are pretty intense and you'll be busy from dawn until dusk. Oh wait, who's reading this part? My tales are pretty intense. You'll be busy from dawn till dusk. Indeed. Bring it on. Beatrice's hand relinquished from the ring of the territory lord. And from Balor she received a silver ring with a crest that could only be worn by the wife of the territory lord. They exchanged their rings, and their wedding was complete. Then the pair turned around, faced the packed crowd of guests, and raised their rings high. A thunderous applause rang out for them. As a memorial to this night's events, the great territory lord will now recognize the accomplishments of certain people. Let those called come forward! At Balor's nod, Beata read the names of the first guests to be recognized. Kano, come forward. Kano! A girl goat pushed her way through the crowd, took off her mask, and yelled. A cloud of gold butterflies gathered before Beato and Balor, and took the form of Kano, kneeling in front of the two nobles. Kano had already died and vanished. However, all the dead revive in the Golden Land. Kano, right here. When my husband was locked up and in danger, you rescued him, and displayed your capability for self-sacrifice by choosing to remain in an eternal prison in his place. Such devotion is deserving of a reward. Therefore, we'll allow for your resurrection as well as for your continued service. Yes, ma'am. I am honored and delighted. Kano! Yoshia! Yoshia! Jessica raced forward and landed sobbing in Kano's chest. Kano patted her head gently and held her. You won't be serving as furniture. You'll be serving as a human. You understand what that means? Yes. After glancing at Jessica sobbing, he looked at Balor again and nodded forcefully. Now for the next pair, Ushinomiya George and Shannon. Come forward. Yes. George and Shannon were the next to be called. Perhaps they had already readied themselves. They walked forward boldly and kneeled. Ushinomiya George right here. Shannon right here. You two withstood Zappa for first trials until the very end. Your great achievements in affection, determination, and nobility were exemplary and deserving of a reward. Therefore, your marriage certificate has been issued with the territory lord's signature. We are honored and delighted. No one will be able to object to this certificate. Let the families of those recognized bless their union with all their hearts. And so, now that there's nothing stopping these two, let's all throw rice at them and celebrate. Hey, congrats, you two! When the territory lord clapped his hands in celebration, it spread throughout the entire cathedral. Then a group of goats in the front line took their masks off one by one. Listen up, okay? I'll never forgive you if you make too much salty miso soup. And George is getting a little overweight, so go easy on the sugar. George, when a man gets married, he's gotta treasure his wife even more than his parents. No matter what your mother says, you make sure you protect Shannon. Yes, of course.
George...
Anyway, George needs at least 7 hours of sleep. I'll never forgive you if you let him stay up late. And don't forget that washing his back and cleaning his ears is also a wife's responsibilities. Is that true? What have I done? A wife's job can vary depending on the family. Rudolph, have you been treasuring your wife? Of course. Why would you doubt that?
Find happiness, you two. Marriage isn't a goal. It's just a starting line, okay? Congratulations! Congratulations! Uryu, congratulations!
We mustn't lose either.
Yeah, no way we're losing, damn it!
All the Ushinomiya family, all the servants, and all the spirits and demons in attendance celebrated the honorees with an even greater applause. And so, the curtain closes on the tale woven by the Golden Witch. Perhaps we should finish this tale with the epitaph. The following is a passage of the Golden Land for the epitaph of the Golden Witch. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be the gold from the Golden Land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch Beatrice. So this means Beato was satisfied and put to sleep. That interpretation is probably appropriate. And now that the game's over, Oni-chan will be released, right? What will he do next? Who knows? The book of this fragment tells no more of the story. So in the end, we don't even get to see what comes next for him. Nothing comes next for him. In the end, Oni-chan and the others never came back. They reached the Golden Land and had a great time together there. Even the tale tells us that the truth is that everyone died in that huge accident. Still, we learned a lot of very interesting things. It seems that island really was a crazy island of illusions. Indeed. And your reading was truly wonderful. I feel worn out, like watching a 6-hour movie all at once. I'm tired. Ushinomiya Enchi, you truly have worked hard. Your reading has soothed my boredom. I, Feathering, am more grateful to you than I have been for so many years that I cannot remember. If you're grateful, why can't I have some kind of reward too? What would be good? Give me some time. I will think. Featherine sat down in her rocking chair and rocked it, apparently trying to think of something. Ushinomiya Anji, you really have worked hard. You have done well to keep reading for me until the end. With this, your responsibilities as my Miko are lifted. You may return to your original world and be reunited with the fate that you have been given. Sheesh. Feels like this is one hell of a side trip. Do not pout. I am thinking of a reward now. Yes, that is something I haven't done much, or rather at all, for quite some time. I imagine the ink from the bottle has dried up by now. Even after the tale ended, Angie and Hachijo's debate over it continued for quite some time. It had been very serious and fiery. Angie had acknowledged that this tale was no crazy literary work, but a new message bottle, which had drifted here once more from the Rokkenjima of 12 years previous, to tell her one truth, and it seemed as though she had found her own interpretation of the truth she thought the tale was trying to tell. Of course, that was only one truth. It did not mean an end to her journey. However, maybe it can be viewed this way. It wasn't sufficient to fill the 12-year gap in her heart. However, at the moment, just enjoying the feeling along with the bitter coffee Hachijo had made was enough. Thank you for reading until the end, and thank you for your thoughts and opinions. I'm sure the very first Endless Witch is happy. Wow, so you can bring yourself to say stuff like that. If you just talked like that from the beginning, you'd have tons more fans. I am merely praising the wonderful reader that you most certainly are. I just wanted to say that spending the time I have left in my writing for you alone was much more productive than writing for those pigs who do not talk and cannot think would have been. That's just the kind of thing you'd be better off not saying. Well, I'll take it as a compliment. Okay. I get the feeling that I spent a really, really long time here. It feels as though I spent a major fraction of my life here. Though it should be feeling uncomfortable sitting here on a sofa in someone else's house. For some strange reason, it feels as familiar as my own home. However, the clock says it's only been about 2 or 3 hours since I met her. My sense of time feels very strange. Your friend seems to be taking his time. It must be a long phone call. It's creepy for a guy to talk that long on the phone. He said he was going to make a scheduled report to Okanogi, didn't he? Even though he was told that he could use the phone here, he declined and went to look for a public phone somewhere. Something about how he didn't want to risk being bugged. He's a moron, so I'll let him do what he wants. Is the nearest public phone far? If you go onto the street, there's a store in the corner a short ways down. Then I'll be on my way. You can use this to pay for food or whatever. If I let you keep that money, will you come again and read my next manuscript and tell me your opinions? You're willing to pay rolls of money to get an uncute girl like me to read your manuscript? No. You were a really good, clear-thinking reader. We create these tales and throw them out into the world in search of people like you. You praise me too much. I just take books a little too seriously. As thanks for the considerable time you have given to me, I will someday write your tale. Am I going to appear in one of your forgeries again? I hope you kill me in a slightly better way this time. Do you like miracles? You mean like a Deus Ex Machina plot development? I used to hate them, but recently I've become a huge fan. Still, I've become a bit of a picky eater, and simply falling from a skyscraper and ending up unharmed doesn't quite qualify as a miracle to me anymore. Then perhaps one day, I will write a tale that you will consider a miracle. I'm really sorry for barging in all of a sudden, saying all kinds of mean things. No. It was a worthwhile conversation. I wonder if my head editor will set up another meeting between the two of us. Sure, if there's another chance for one. See you again. Have a nice day. Yes, it may happen again sometime. I pray that you find your truth. Thank you. If you ever do reach a truth of your own, please try making that a tale as well someday. You want me to become one of your witches? I wonder. I'm bad at writing. A good reader isn't necessarily a good writer, you know. Ah, quite true. I myself can never read anything written by anyone else. Sheesh. Then I'm off. After this, I'll probably never see you again, but I pray I'll be fortunate enough to meet you, another you, someday.
somewhere.
Can I ask one last question?
Go ahead.
That feathering witch who appeared within the tale. That's you, right?
It may be presumptuous to say it, but that was my intention.
This might be a strange question, but, are you feathering? Or is feathering you?
Well now, what might you be talking about?
The mysterious woman was mysterious to the last, and so, the day of which I had no memories ended, and on the following day I would take a boat to Nijima. I'll probably never meet her again. However, that just means that I won't meet her, so some other me might meet her somewhere down the road. Just as I have reached several truths, they must also want to reach the truth. So long, Featherine. If you ever write a decent story, please call me again. If I'm free, I might drop by. No problem. It's the most luxurious escorts job I've had yet. I'd almost invite you along, sir. Oh, No problem. It's the most luxurious escort job I had yet. I'd almost like to invite you along, sir. I'd take a pass on that. You know how old I am. I've done running around all over the place. The person on the other end of the line was Okanogi. Okanogi was also a man who tended to move from place to place, so it hadn't really been easy to catch him even on the phone. Our trip's been pretty cool, and right now there's no need to run around. Sumadera Kasumi is searching for you like mad. According to our informants, she's already gotten a ride to Rokenjima. You'll bump into her there. So, just as planned. It'll likely just be 5 or 6 people at most. They'll probably be armed with nothing more than handguns. They're no match for you. Feel free to run wild. Make sure you kill them. Were you able to acquire one of your favorite toys? Of course. I'm surprised you managed to arrange for this in this country. Behind Amakusa was a rental car that they borrowed under a false name, inside of which was a black golf bag. The Subadera head family has already given the okay, but make sure you get out of Japan as soon as you're done. Don't forget to buy your cup ramen by the box in Narita before your flight out. I'll take care of it this time. It's an easy job. Also, you do understand about that, right? That? Well, I'm not sure what you mean. Playing dumb, are we? Well, that's okay. Despite how you talk, you've never betrayed my expectations in the past. If you're clever about it, you won't even have to get your hands dirty. There should be plenty of ways to handle it. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I realize that Angie is a child to be pitied, but only if she stayed true to that and acted the part of a secluded young lady. When we decided to join forces after Ava's death, we reached an agreement. This little portable shrine of ours is important, but she's also a liability. This is for the sake of the world peace as well, okay? So watch and see how it goes. I hope those Sumadera black suits know how to shoot a gun right. Huh? What is it, sir? Don't tell me that after a few days on the run, you and Angie have already hooked up. Me and that bratty little girl, please. Well, it's not like I care. It just means you finally managed to break free enough that you can take passive at girls, right? Half the world is made up of women. You'll never last if one or two just make you freeze up. Oh, speak of the devil. She's here. Guess that's all for today. I'll contact you after reaching our lodgings on Nijima. Later. Angie was walking down the street. Why'd she have to do that when I told her to wait for me to come back? If only she wasn't like this, she might have lived a longer life. That was a pretty long call. I was so tired of waiting that I left. Sorry about that. How was it for you, lady? Did you learn anything interesting? It was interesting. I've harvested all I need. Sounds cool. After Amakusa opened the passenger's side door, Angie got in the car. Amakusa quickly went around to the driver's seat. Then let's head to the harbor. According to the old man, the Sumidera family has set up a net. If we do get caught, then that's the measure of my luck. If we don't, then Rokonjima is waiting for me. Let's leave it all to luck. Luck, is it? But you can't decide what to do, or when it doesn't matter either way. It's not so bad to entrust your fate to a coin toss. And I guess I'll try leaving it to luck too. I've gotta admit, I'm a fan of that kind of thing. Great. My bodyguard just said he's gonna leave everything to luck. Wonderful. I had to leave for that phone call, so I totally missed the clincher. What happened after I left? Let's hear it. I messed up, I'm sorry. No, I'm not telling. That's a shame. The car dashed through the hilly town. A car would return to Hachijo's house for all eternity. However, Angie didn't get sentimental about it. For now, she just wanted to silently consider the new message to the bottle the current endless witch, Hachijo Toya, had given her. In the rearview mirror, the town where the witch lived faded off into the distance. However, that scene wasn't reflected in Angie's eyes. It's okay, I don't really care that I messed up that one. It's not that important. You just know that, that Angie is... Okay, so whatever is implied in episode 7 most likely happened in episode 4, okay? Not gonna say anything. I mean, if it isn't obvious by the time we reach episode 8 and whatever. Now we have to read the question mark. And then on Monday, we're gonna read my favorite episode, episode 7! Oh, that one's so painful, I can't wait! Yay! Also, we're gonna meet the best male character in the entire story. Better than Battler. And we're gonna meet one of my other favorite characters. Lambda, where are you? Just having to say that felt like admitting defeat, and I didn't like it. Why is it that she's always so obnoxious and clingy when I don't need her, and then won't answer when I call her name? Where am I? Annoyed by that completely predictable ending, I left the cathedral. I planned on finding some terrace with a cool night's breeze to kill time on until the end of the farcical reception. It's true that I tried to find somewhere desolate so that I wouldn't have to look at people, but this is a bit ridiculous. I, the great Burn Castle, am lost. A miracle like that certainly wouldn't happen. Yes, miracles don't exist in this world. To create a miracle, you need an amount of time that can never be reached, a period that's no different from infinity. So when something that appears to be a miracle happens in a shorter span of time than that, it is not a miracle, but the product of someone's design. In other words, the reason I'm walking down this corridor is because someone's design has forced me here. Who? Who would have pulled such a complicated prank on me? It looks like you're quite the shy one, calling me out to a desolate place like this. Then from the other end of the dark corridor, I heard a sound. It sounded as though some small animal, like a dog or cat, was walking at a quick pace. No miracle would cause a dog or a cat to be in a place like this. Such a miracle would not be allowed. Since it isn't a miracle, that means I'm being guided in that direction. Very well. This might be some new theme to keep me entertained. If this is some new joke of Lambda's, I'll cover her whole body with honey using my tongue as a reward. Then I'll stick my parasol chocolates into her eyes and tell her to never do it again. In the direction the noise came from, it was not only dim, but shrouded in complete darkness. However, I could sense something in that darkness. There were 2 emerald green glints, probably cat's eyes. the eyes of the black cat that peered through the darkness. Are you the one who called me here? Or are you just the messenger? When I looked at my feet, I saw red cat footprints leading toward those red eyes. The marks were unsettling, as though the cat had run through a pool of blood. When my eyes adjusted to the darkness, then even with the lack of light, I was vaguely able to make out these red footprints. They weren't actually glowing or anything, but they served perfectly well as a signpost leading me onwards. As though it was telling me to follow, the cat turned around and dashed off into the darkness. What is it? Something feels very strange. It's a feeling I haven't felt since I began calling myself the cruelest witch in the world. I can't quite remember what that feeling is. Still, for one as tired of the boredom as me, it surely is more fun this way. I followed the bloody footprints of the cat, which sometimes would stop and look back at me, and walked on and on through the dark corridor. Forward, turn, head down what appeared to be the stairs from time to time, and then, though I couldn't really tell because of the darkness, it went in through the crack of a door. Here. I pushed the door open slowly, but it was dark on the inside, just like the corridor. However, the air and the slight change in the echoes made by the footsteps told me that this was a room, not a corridor. The sounds of the cat's footsteps were gone, however the bloody footprints remained. On the other side of some sort of wooden screen, under what looked like a small spotlight, there was that same black cat gobbling down some blood-stained pet food. I see. So this is its reward for bringing me here. Cat, sorry to bother you during your meal, but I'd like you to summon your master. That is, unless you're actually the one who summoned me. Talking to it didn't cause it to turn around. Well, I guess it's an animal eating its food. If I kick it away, it'll probably run off to its owner. When I kicked the cat, it sailed away like a stuffed animal, hit the wall and fell to the ground. Then it vanished, melting into the darkness. What's with this cat? Is it just an illusion? When I looked at its food plate, it was piled up with what appeared to be blood-drenched raw meat. It was as though someone had torn apart living flesh on the spot and piled it up on there. Come on. What's with the creepy reception? That was a mean thing to do, kicking it. The instant I heard that voice, the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. Then the surrounding area finally brightened. However, Burncastle had already guessed where this was before it grew bright. That was you, was it not? That cat. A cat who has learned how to eat meat, and that it can sometimes choose its own path. It has been a long time. It's a path I might never have had to know about if you hadn't told me. You're the monster who taught me the taste of flesh. So you've come back to life, Featherine Aurora. Augustus Aurora. You never learn, no matter how often I tell you that. Very well. Even that brings back fond memories. I have heard the rumors. It seems you have taken the name Burncastle, Witch of Miracles, have been playing a far from praiseworthy fragment game. I'm just imitating you, though I could hardly match up to your level. If the rumors you've heard about me are bad, that applies 100-fold to you.
Burncastle sat unreservedly in the antique chair, as though she was already familiar with the place.
What are you afraid of? I am merely celebrating my reunion with my longest-serving Miko so far. Did you really find my messenger cat so displeasing?
Burncastle's manner seemed completely relaxed,
However, Featherine admonished her, telling her not to be afraid. And judging by the expression that had risen to Burn's face, Featherine had been right on the mark. Did you really have to make such a blunt insinuations against me? A cat leaving behind bloody footprints and stuffing its face with blood-stained meat. Have no fear. Look closely. Do you see any cat stuffing its face with meat? I just gave it a plate of biscuits as a reward for going to get you. It was as though soot covering the plate by her feet was blown away even though there was no wind. There lay an adorable and perfectly normal cat dish with a pile of small biscuits on top of it. Castle didn't even hide her displeased grimace. Featherine shrugged and muttered, "You haven't changed, child of man," as she rocked her rocking chair. I see you're as pleasant as ever, but I'm happy now. Imitating you has really been far from boring. Scold me as you please. It is the parting gift I gave you when we last met. You liked rude Mikos because they kept you entertained, right? Ridiculous. If talking will only please you, I'll shut up. So, what do you want with me? It seems Beatrice's game has ended with Balor's victory. I observed it. It was quite entertaining. I'm sure you like seeing me fail miserably. Nonsense. It was a splendid performance. I'm sure Beato is very grateful to you. And, if you want me to read the fragments of Beato's game aloud for you, I refuse. I'm not your Miko anymore. I have observed all of Beato's games. I also watched Lambda Delta's game and Balor's game with great interest. I believe I have formed an answer for all the riddles in my own way. The culprit, the motive, the individual tricks. I am not yet clear about the very last part of the Eptaph's riddle, but I have enough of the theory that I actually went to Rokinjima and investigated it. I should be able to resolve that part as well. And, of course, since there's no single truth, my theory is probably only one of the many possibilities. However, that is only a question of possibilities. A trivial problem. What are you up to? Do you want to debate Beato's game with me? Wrong. What I want is to look at the answers, child of man. Those words of Featherine made Berncastel straighten up. Her old master did not fail to notice that small reaction. So far, you have spiced up this tale as an actor. In doing that, you have probably come to know many truths. However, even you are unaware of the truth behind several riddles that Beato has cleverly kept hidden, correct? I see. You want to use me to chew apart and string out the guts of something again. After watching a play, reading the pamphlet and learning what goes on behind the scenes is similar to, as you would say it, enjoying some black tea after a meal. That enjoyment cannot be left undone. You like to play with them and love them while they're alive, then eat their flesh when they die. So cats are doubly useful to you. Just die, monster. I want to look at the answers. I'm sure you want to know them. Think of it as a bureau for Beato's corpse, where you are in charge of the service. What do you say to that, child of man? Now you're starting to speak my language. When Featherine snapped her fingers, a thin spotlight appeared on the table, which was covered with cluttered books. There lay a folded version of the game board for Beato's game. The Witch of Theater-going spun her finger in a circle, and the game board opened up by itself, showing the black and white pieces lined up inside of it. The game board and all the pieces are gathered here. The records for the previous games are all present as well. With a rustling sound, the book flipped through all of its pages of its own accord, front to back, shut itself, and flew to the side of the game board where it waited. Inside it, all the movements of the pieces during the previous games were recorded. I see. So you were short a player and a commentator. We're also short on black tea. Similarly with dried plums. Of course I will find some. Okay. If you add on some mustard rice cakes, then we have a deal. The negotiations are concluded. I have one condition. Oh, and what is that? I'm going to be the reader, okay? I have no love, so a few things might be interpreted in an odd way. However, the reader is free to read things in a manner, and with an intonation of her choosing. I only want to check the answers. I don't particularly care about the tale itself. I'm not deeply interested in what sort of tale you'll create. Ah, yes. Now I see what you're after. Will you accept that condition? Very well. I want to know the answer. You have your grudge to worry about. The negotiations are concluded. When Featherine snapped her fingers once more, a large chair appeared as though beckoning Berncaster to sit there. It was a throne, horribly mismatched with the furnishings of this room. Wait, I've seen this before. This is... I'll acknowledge it. You may sit. You are the game master. Are you sure? Are you really sure? You can create whatever sort of tale you'd like to satisfy your grudge. I am not interested. However, I have one condition as well. Answer all the questions I ask. Absolutely no keeping secrets, hiding or dodging the issues. Leave it to me. Tearing up guts and dragging them out is my specialty. After all, you trained me. Let us make some black tea. We'll use our own hands, not magic. Let the master treat her Miko to some tea. The old Banto told me that witches are the best ones to have black tea with. It seems that rule doesn't apply to us. At some point, that dish pile with biscuits had once again been covered with a mountain of torn apart meat and a splatter of red. No, not just meat, even the bowels. Black tea is best enjoyed with your fellow monsters. Okay. Okay. Let's see. In that case, let's get the pieces ready. If we keep the count, this game will be 7, right? Indeed, a fortuitous number. But not for Beto, right? Berncastel slowly picked up the black piece. It was the piece that represented Beatrice. It was sometimes a king, sometimes a queen, and could become a knight. However, that was only if it got promoted. Until then, it was only a trash piece, like a pawn. First comes the placing of the pieces. By this point, the witch's game has already begun. Berncastel took Beatrice's piece and raised it high. First move placement. Beatrice on D8. When the seagulls cried, there were no survivors. Oh? What is this? What is this? There's more? There's more? Hopefully some part of the song being played didn't trigger the copyright. I don't know. I like it when I can just read the characters with the soft voices. It makes my voice so easier on me. Wait, the other way around? Oh, right, the episode 6 tips. Totally forgot. Spirit mirror, kept in the shrine built on a rock in the waters near Rokanjima to suppress the evil spirits of Akujikishima, is believed to possess a great power which holds evil spirits at bay. This mirror is revered by the fishermen around the Nijima area and several times each year. A small ceremony is conducted jointly by the Ushinomiya family and the Nijima Fishery Cooperative. In the past, Kinzo ordered that it be cleaned when the seasons changed. However, it is unknown whether or not he did this out of respect for the occult of the Eastern world. Dual pistol set. A set of demon dual pistols prepared by Zepara and Furfur. The number of shots loaded depends on the format of the duel. In most cases, it holds just a single round. The emotions of the duelers are placed into them, and if one of their bullets grazes any part of the body, the concept of the target will be denied without exception. In the past, duels were performed the classic style with swords, but this took a great deal of time before an outcome was reached, which displeased certain impatient theater-going witches. For this reason, a dual weapon that would always kill with a single shot was asked for and created. Of course, this weapon is not particularly popular among theater-going witches who are fans of good old drawn-out dramatic duels. Alright, characters. Let's resurrect Kinzo. Nope, he did. Let's try to kill. No. Okay, let's see. No, we can't do that, obviously. Okay. do. Oh my god! It broke her! She's not even there! She's not even there! She broke so bad! She's a black square! What? Is that supposed to happen, or did the modded game kind of ruin it or something? What? Okay. No, we can't kill Valor. Okay. Anything else? Nope. Then next week we'll meet up again and read episode 7. Yay! That one's painful. Just like episode 4. That's why they're both my favorites. Okay, bye-bye. Good night.